How do you pay homage to one of the greatest and most influential PlayStation 1 classics of all time? This isn't just childhood nostalgia, it's a platforming gauntlet. The naughty gods managed to develop an entire sequel to Crash Bandicoot in just over a year, and many gamers would argue that Crash 2 is the pinnacle of the series. But this isn't a mere celebration or victory lap, it's the story of my road to mastery. This week I obtained every single retro achievement, and it took me a surprisingly long 20 hours to boot. Every gem, every time trial relic, and even the no Firefly challenge is exclusive to the PlayStation 1 game. Today I'm sharing everything I learned with you so you can do the same. Or just tag along for a fun ride. We can all agree Crash is absolutely goated.
You may remember me from my last adventure where I just, I don't know, saved the world. You're welcome. And now I have to do it again.
If you're new here and unaware, RetroAchievements is a website that has specially curated challenges for consoles from the Atari 2600 all the way up to the PlayStation 2 and GameCube. New sets are released daily by the passionate community, so there's always new challenges to take on and games to master. It's a website that has consumed my soul recently, and along with my trusty Steam Deck, I've been mastering games from my childhood, which is absolutely as sensational as it sounds. Without further ado, today we're embarking on an epic quest to thwart the nefarious Cortex once again, and this time we've got the backing of Coco and Nitrous Brio. Strap in because this is a retro fix you won't want to miss. Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back has a whopping 75 achievements worth 830 hardcore points. These can be broken down to 5 progression based, 27 for breaking every box in each level without dying, 27 for each level's time trial, 5 for collecting coloured gems, 6 for every clear gem in each warp room, 2 for no Firefly runs, an extra life achievement, a boss challenge, and finally an achievement for unlocking the secret ending. Nothing is missable. As usual, I'm playing in hardcore mode, so no save states and rewinds, and my plan for Crash 2 was simple. First, I'd 100% the game, then tackle the time trials before ending on the no Firefly runs, as a lot of people mentioned these are the most frustrating. I know Crash 1 intimately, but I've a lot less experience with the second game, so I knew this would probably be a greater challenge, and boy was I right. Spending more than twice as long than I did on Crash 1. Picking up where Crash 1 ended, a year after Cortex is defeated, he returns claiming he's trying to save the world. He tricks Crash into collecting powerful crystals which he actually wants for
world domination.
It's the perfect setup for some more tightly refined platforming goodness, and we're later tasked with also collecting gems for Embryo in order to thwart Cortex's evil plans. Guess Crash is gonna have to put the Saturday job on hold for a bit, eh? We're off to a fairly familiar start with Turtle Woods, which is in many ways reminiscent of the original game's opening level Insanity Beach. What is immediately apparent though is the extra depth of control, with Crash 2 having full analog controls that feel instantly comfortable to get to grips with. As we make our way through the level compulsively destroying crates, our first mini challenge comes from the first bonus area. In order to even access it, we have to utilize our first new move, the Body Slam. Making our way through the two-dimensional section, we have to utilize our second new move, the Slide Jump, in order to reach all boxes. We have to slide jump onto the birds, then quickly slide jump again before they lower their backs in order to reach the high crates. These new moves will add a surprising amount of extra depth to the game. Back in the main level, and gone are the bonus tokens from Crash 1, saving from a warp room is readily available, and access to the bonus is well signposted. The bonus level crates in Crash 2 add to the cumulative count, meaning that we need every box in the bonus for the level's clear gem, and no deaths in the level for the achievement, though dying in a bonus doesn't count as death here, as it just plops you back into the level. As we grab our third Aku mask and become invincible, I put the slide jump to good use, avoiding the pit. Though, unfortunately, I'm a bit shit at doing it repeatedly, which is why I screw it up on the next one like a massive turd burglar. Thankfully, it's of no consequence, and we grab the
well-hidden crystal
before heading to the end of the stage and picking up our first clear gem, unlocking Turtle Power for our first achievement. After a charming new victory dance that never gets old, it's time to head back to Turtle Woods for the blue gem. Coloured gems work a little bit differently in Crash 2, and all 5 are needed for the game's proper ending. Each coloured gem has its own unlock requirements, and the blue gem is obtained by not destroying a single box here. This is very easy, and we can simply run through the level until we reach this wall of crates. In order to pass by, crouch, then high jump onto this crate as it won't break on the first hit. Finishing the no box challenge unlocks Baby Blue, and Nitrous Brio tells Crash to
gather the gems, not the crystals.
Sounds like he's on crystal, to be honest. And so we enter Snow Go with 42 gems on top of the 25 crystals, our lofty goal. I waste no time destroying everything in my path and skidding across the ice before making my way to the next 2D section. Be careful to move quickly so as to not get crushed. Note the red gem, which can be obtained now, though I'll be grabbing it later in the original intended way. As we drop down here, make sure to hit the green crate blowing up the level's nitro crate, and don't forget to grab another incredibly
well-hidden
crystal. Also, don't forget to jump high here to hit a hidden exclamation box, making the 2 outlined crates we just passed appear. Other than that, it's another quick and easy stage to grab our next gem, unlocking Buried in the Snow. Next up, it's Hang 8, which is similar to the upstream levels in Crash 1, but with some pretty fun jetboarding sections. Hang 8 has 2 available clear gems, and a little way into the level we reach this blue gem path. Unfortunately, moments later these crates screw up my run, and after a watery demise, it's time for a do-over. Bandicoots can swim, naughty dog! Second time I managed it though, and reached the jetboarding section where we have to navigate our way through to the exclamation crate, before heading back for a little airtime to grab the newly formed boxes. With that scene too and the nitro exclamation crate activated, it's back to the main path. I'm proper loving my time here as we pass the last jetboarding challenge, grabbing the next clear gem and unlocking Catch a Wave. The pits is our third stage, and there's a couple of approaches to getting every box as the path splits partway through. After a couple of deaths, I decided to head right until the checkpoint before heading back to the left path. This is because a little while in there's an exclamation crate that activates later crates on the other side. So we nab the crystal, then backtrack down the right path, clearing the newly formed crates before carrying on. I was living the best life with total glee. There's something so pure and refined about Crash. It's simple, undiluted fun, and with the level's clear gem collected, the next unlock is down in the hole. Our last stage in Warp 1 is Crash Dash, our first chase level. All was going so smoothly. I felt almost invincible as I avoided the mines like a ninja, slamming the speed pads and even dodging an electric fence, but promptly after I fell to my death. A couple more lives lost and I aced it, grabbing the gem, completing the bonus and reaching the end of the level in a single life to obtain the clear gem and dash along for adeptly dealing with the gargantuan balls. With that one, Cortex tells us,
Listen up, we are not without enemies, but they cannot harm you if you subscribe, like, and share this video.
Before facing the first boss, I decided to grab the last clear gem of the warp room and return to Hang 8. Hang 8's second clear gem is obtained by finishing the level quickly, so we get a move on and race through the level, and an on-screen timer is revealed as we hit the checkpoint. The jetboarding sections can be whizzed through by repeatedly boosting. The time limit isn't that bad really, and after hopping over the hippos and zooming further upstream, we spin attack the last plant and grab the second clear gem with a couple of seconds to spare. I accidentally unlocked our first time trial achievement, Surfer's Stomp, for being under a minute 48, and also scored Jungle Boogie for every clear gem in the warp room. Our first boss sees the return of Ripperoo, who's bettering himself with some educational study, and I can't help but see the similarities. In each phase, make sure you avoid the TNT and then the nitro crates. There's a small safe area for each mini phase. When Roo trips himself up, it's time to spin attack for damage. 3 hits and he's down for a trivial defeat, snatching Insane in the brain. The similarities are endless. We exit the boss fight into the frozen warp room where Cortex appears looking mashed off his face. After a brief speech, Coco breaks through.
Trusting Cortex seems a little unwise.
Well, shit the bed, Coco. I hadn't considered that. Thanks, love. And with a big sigh, we're off to Snowbiz, but not without kicking the living crap out of the poor baby polar bear for most miserable life, an achievement which made me feel a twinge of guilt. Snowbiz has a secret gem path which we need the red gem for, so we're moving on with just the crystal. Air Crash is next up, and when we reach these crates, we have to hop over to our first secret warp. That aforementioned red gem is within reach now as we enter Snow Go through the secret entrance. Thankfully, we don't have to get the red gem in a single life, as I died quite a few times on this slippery bugger. There's quite a few hazards up here, particularly the porcupines, so take your time and slide when necessary. Be sure to grab the Aku Aku mask and slide jump to navigate the metal crates. If you're extremely careful, there's 3 masks which make the latter section easier to navigate, and at the end we grab the red gem. All that's left is running to the end of the level warp and we unlock Akata Kuro with a sigh of relief. I decided to have a go at Snowbiz with the red gem collected, but I started off about as desirably as a pickled nutsack, dying over and over again, which is no good when we have to do it in one for the achievement. With repetition comes experience though, and eventually I beat my first real challenge. The initial areas are easy, but the red gem path is where we're truly tested. After breaking the first few crates with ease, make sure you slide at the porcupines lest you'll get hit like that. Body slam the tough crates and hit the TNT up high before the exclamation crate is revealed. Navigate the newly formed metal crates, grabbing the extra life as as you go, then hop the TNT crates. Keep making your way across, attacking the porcupine when its back is turned. Be careful after the nitro crates to not destroy the wooden jump crate until you've got all other boxes. You can use the ledges to spin attack the highest crates. Destroy the left up box and make sure that you slide under the concrete pillars, as they will try to crush Crash quicker than those on the main path. Slide jump across the next few gaps, grabbing the crates as you go, including the 2 hidden high. Slide under each of the next crushing pillars and avoid the nitro crates. Wait for the stalactites to drop before a big slide jump. Another final slide jump and smash the nitro exclamation crate. With that, we're back on the easy path and keep going, grabbing all of the crates. With the bonus, make sure you head back for this crate. With that done, when we grab the gem at the level's end, we unlock Snowflakes in the process. Air Crash features our first death route. These are trickier paths unlocked by reaching a certain point without dying in the level, and passing the death route means another fabulous gem. This first one is pretty tame though, and after some quick fire hops, be sure to keep an eye on the timing of this platform so as not to jump too early. After clearing the jetboarding section and hippos, we grab our next clear gem. We'll be back for the box gem later, and so we enter Bear It. It's similar to the hog levels in Crash 1, but thankfully the polar bear controls a little less like a double-decker bus. I still can't fathom why, but I had a ridiculous amount of difficulty getting these 4 crates. I ended up voluntarily killing myself over and over in my quest for perfection. Eventually, I somehow got it and continued the level, smashing every crate to complete what should have been an easy challenge and scoring going on a bear hunt. Onto Crash Crush and another stage that gave me a bit of trouble. Thankfully, the mines only slow Crash down. When we reach the fork, we head back up and slide jump for a few more boxes. The sound of electricity is a warning of what's to come, and we hit the boost pads where we can. Towards the end of the level, we need to hit the boosts to gain some distance on the boulders so we can quickly slam this deviously placed tough crate at the end. As I got the gem, I leapt in victory for what felt like a well-earned achievement in Rolling Rock. Our final Warp Room 2 level is the Eel Deal, the first sewer level, and our first order of business is obtaining the green gem. Partway through the level, we have to go right at this fork and carefully pass the nitro crates to enter a hidden wall. After carefully avoiding the mutant rats, the eel-infested waters, and scrubbers, the green gem is ours. Unfortunately, a little later in the level, these blades sliced me, but thankfully we're still able to obtain the crystal and green gem. After some hang time reaching the exit, we unlock Emerald Labyrinth for our spoils. Back in again we go, this time for the clear gem. The main thing to note is when reaching the same nitro crates as before, this individual wooden box needs to be destroyed and is easily missed. Make sure to take the left path where the crystal was for more boxes, and ending the stage, this time we score the clear gem and electric feel for our troubles. Time for a hot bath, I think, Crash. Our next boss is the Komodo brothers, and I rather like their scarlet decor, I must say. Another easy boss battle ensues, and this time we have to smack Joe into Mo like a giant donkey dick to the face. 3 man slaps and they are no more. Blood Brothers in the bag, and we enter Warp 3. Plant Food is our first level, and I somehow died on the first jump like a total numpty. I still don't understand why Crash can't swim. Crash was even a mascot for swim safety in Australia. As we progress, I'm totally digging the music, and I own the jetboard like a trooper. After collecting the crystal and before the 3rd jetboard, you need to make sure that you follow this path, otherwise you'll miss a couple of crates. All that dealt with, and we end the level grabbing the clear gem and bridge over troubled water in the process. Back into Plant Food, we now need to rush through for the yellow gem. After making some jumps over the initial obstacles, we can boost our way through most of the jetboard section. Slide jumping can be used to shave a few milliseconds off if you wish. Boosting rapidly through the 2nd and then 3rd section, we grab the yellow gem, accidentally unlocking Green River for beating 1 minute 50 and also Golden Sneer for the topaz. Sewer or Later has a yellow gem path that's particularly treacherous, and I managed to get stuck between these crates and got zapped into oblivion. After taking more than a few shocks, I was relieved to see the clear gem just after the first room. You can kill yourself and finish the level to grab this one. Back in I went to again navigate the sewers, this time for the box gem and achievement. I managed to avoid being zapped, hitting blades, or being flamed as I worked my way through this densely packed obstacle course. The bonus here is a bit devious with regular crates on top of nitro crates. After failing hard, I made it to the end. We next have to slap the scrubbers into the fast-moving blades to pass unharmed. Thankfully, we can ignore the yellow path and head left for the crystal and some crates before doubling back to the path on the right. Finishing with the clear gem, our next unlock is the sewers of the Strand. In Bear Down, we have have yet another polar bear to ride, and my first attempt ends with Crash frozen in seconds. This one took me about 20 minutes to master, and this was my run. After grabbing the crates and avoiding the water, we zigzag past the statues and past the killer whale pool on the left. We next have to do almost the same again, ending with another whale pool jump on the left. After the checkpoint, you need to jump over and line up with the left crate and slide to the right as you land. Jump the metal crates first time, then under the second, boosting and jumping the gap. Ensure you stay to the left to avoid the TNT and zigzag the next boxes. Jump the seals and stay to the right to avoid the next explosion. After jumping the pool, go under the metal crates. Continue on, and when you reach the next jump, jump over the crates towards the right to jump the whale pool. After grabbing the crystal, the next whale pool jump is to the left and immediately hop over the metal crates. Another tight zigzag for the next checkpoint. Jump over the first metal crates and boost under the second. Boost jump the next pool to the right and then head straight onto the ice, hitting right to adjust your slide for the second box. Avoid the whale to the left and make several hops before boosting under the old guy's crates. With that, it's just the nitro crate to destroy and the gem to collect, giving us a well-earned Paddington Bear. Road to Ruin has a secret entrance, so for now we're doing the death route. The logs being hurled at Crash can either be jumped over or spin attacked if you're feeling daring. With the route completed and the next clear gem obtained, we're on to Unbearable, which is aptly named as it's a bitch. Before the box challenge, we backtrack from the end of the level, jumping the ravine and reaching this little polar bear. Get ready for Totally Bear, or as I like to call it, the first level that boils my piss. This little f*** of a level is another polar bear ride, but with almost zero visibility and hazards turned up to 11. It took me nearly half an hour to pass the level, and we won't go into the time trial that's to come later. Let's just say it's a healthy challenge. If poor Crash wasn't frozen in ice, he was repeatedly impacted at speed so often he could star in his own signature dish. With the gem finally in tow, we unlock Rise and Shine Ursine. You'll be enjoying that level's time trial in detail later, trust me. Back to Unbearable in another piss-boiling bastard. This took me well over an hour to finish in a single life. Giant polar bears, mines, electric fences, and hunters with guns are begging to take poor Crash's life. This one was so tense I ended up as hot as a pig's arsehole. There's also the rather bullshit decision of the game taking your hard-earned Aku Aku masks after the hidden bonus area, so you only ever have a single hit when being chased. Being chased through the initial section isn't too bad, just be sure to avoid the nitro on the left and listen for the electric fence so you know when to slide under. Spin attack the fences, and if you need, take a moment to breathe at checkpoint 1. Section 2 is mostly similar but very narrow. After the boost pad, be careful to stay left to avoid the mine, then hit the next boost. Be careful to slide or spin attack the geckos, as it can be hard to judge distance. After checkpoint 2, things are about to ramp up. Head back into the hole the bear has created. This next section needs careful timing as the slow-moving bullets are a pain. Make sure to high jump onto this crate, then bounce the second to make a long leap to the next boxes. Slide jump over, then slide jump again over the moving bullets. With the hunter dispatched, slam the next crates, then jump up onto them. Carefully time the next bit to jump over the bullet and spin attack the turtle. Carefully time your jumps over the bullets as you progress towards the hunter. This next bit is extremely important. I finished the level missing 2 boxes after nearly an hour. Hidden boxes, such a wonderful mechanic. After the mask, make sure to hit these 2 boxes with high jumps. That done, destroy the up box and continue. The armadillos can be jumped on if necessary. Crouch either side of the nitro crate and carefully grab the question mark boxes. Some more carefully timed jumps and we've twatted another hunter. Some more slide jumps and gingerly made progress to the final hunter, or if you get hit, make a run for it while invincible. With that over, we're back to a pretty straightforward bonus stage. Hit the exclamation crate and get ready for the next bear chase. Be sure to hit the boost pads and slide under the electric fence a little further on, then spin attack and immediately slide under the next fence. The last polar bear section isn't too bad, just be aware that he auto turns a little, which can make grabbing the single box harder. Pass the TNT on the right, then a big jump and get ready to zigzag the electric fences, starting with the left, then right, then left. Stay right and make a big jump to land on the left, then immediately move to the right to avoid the fence. Then left, right, and you'll be flung to the end of a frankly torturous level, and done in one, we can grab the clear gem, unlocking the hardest earned achievement yet with dangerous and moving, and you can unclench that sphincter. Our next boss is Tiny Tiger, who will jump from platform to platform stalking Crash. The trick is to jump on the red platforms before they fall, making Tiny jump onto them instead. After doing this 3 times, we unlock Tiger in a spotlight and head to warp 4. Hanging out is relatively straightforward and shouldn't give too much much trouble as I nabbed it on my first try. There's some simple hanging sections that are easily passed if well timed. When you reach the section with the crystal, there's a hole that you can drop down. We'll be back here soon, but for now ignore it and continue on. The bonus is only a little tricky at the end, as it's best to either spin or jump on top of the multi-wumper fruit crate so as not to fall. Back in the main level, after a couple more hazards, we grab the clear gem for just hanging out. Onto digging it, and we have another mammoth task ahead as we have to do the death route and a massive backtrack to get all the crates in one go. After a few failed goes at this, I made it to the death route. Carefully avoiding the nitro and the explosive flower seeds, the mines and bees, I made my way through the gauntlet until eventually I grabbed the clear gem. Moments later, I got stung by a bee and died, so I scoped out the backtracking path and completed the level to nab the first clear gem and crystal, only to have to do it all again. The first part of the level isn't too perilous, just avoid the explosive seeds, grab the Aku mask and hold on to it for dear life. When we start reaching the electric fences, things ramp up as timing to avoid them and explosions is tricky. After the bonus round, we're back to the death route, and when that's been bested, the backtracking begins. Make sure that you listen out for the bees, as it's an indication when to spin attack to avoid being stung. Use the mud to hide in as and when, and carefully go back through the level. We reach electric fences, then a couple of boost pads, then some mines. After the jump crate and then 2 more boxes, the Wumper Fruit signals being back at the start of this section. Now there's all the joy of going back through the entire thing again, though at least it's easier when you can see where you're going. Moving past the fork again and grabbing the crates and exclamation nitro crate, at least the last part of the level is mercifully short. We spin attack the lumberjacks before they have a chance to bop us and navigate some more mines and explosives before finally grabbing the clear gem, unlocking another hard-earned achievement in Dig It Up. Now it's time for Cold Hard Crash, which took me another whole hour to do. We have all the joys of another death route which we need to go through and then back through again while avoiding being crushed with nitro crates on slippery ice. Everything is fairly easy to begin with a wide open first section and some easy jumps. Then we reach the 2D section and things are relatively okay. There's a highly missable single crate in the bonus stage up here, so make sure you jump on top of the crate first so as not to miss it and waste a load of agony, as one box missed is about as fun as painting a cougar's nails. With the bonus over, a little further on we finally reach the death route. The trick here is to mostly keep moving, but be aware of how easy it is to lose control. Note this box outline we'll be coming back for. The porcupines are best slide attacked, as otherwise they will f*** you. As we continue along the death route, we slowly but carefully avoid all the perils and avoid being crushed, and then after the nitro we have to quickly slow ourselves down to avoid the icicle stabbing crash. Then we speed up to avoid being crushed before immediately turning backwards and jumping to spin attack the exclamation crate and kill our inertia. Now it's a case of heading all the way back through the death route again and avoiding everything until we reach that single crate which has now appeared. Exit the death route through the entrance to continue the level. Continuing on past the penguins and crushing traps isn't too bad. We then reach these 4 exclamation crates and 4 boxes before a few more treacherous jumps. This single wooden crate behind the nitro is a cow to reach. My method was slide jumping on the far left, then carefully jumping on top of it. Don't spin for obvious reasons. With that done, the remainder of the stage isn't too taxing, provided you take your time, avoid the porcupines, rolling stones and penguins, and if you didn't miss those boxes I mentioned earlier, you'll have a shiny gem like I did, unlocking cold as ice for another tricky achievement mastered. Honestly, Crash 2 feels to me like it's consistently more challenging than the original. Straight back into the level, and all that's left is making it to and passing through the death route again, but this time exiting at the end of the route for another clear gem. Ruination is actually pretty easy for the most part. First time round I ignored the green gem path, aiming to grab all the boxes. It's a stage that benefits from a slow and methodical approach with plenty of rest points. The real challenge for me came from these slippy, rotating, angled pillars that can be easily misjudged with little margin for error. Once these are passed and some final logs hopped over, I got another clear gem, unlocking Dancin In the Ruins. Heading back in for the other clear gem, it's time for the green gem path. My biggest piece of advice here is to make liberal use of the spin attack, as it can hit the logs if timed right. With that completed, we finish the level and move on to beehaving. Like Digging It, this is a level littered with seed bomb spitting plants and beehives, though this time you're attacked by swarms of bees instead of one at a time, so I hope you've got your EpiPen ready.
Emotional damage!
I got the clear gem and crystal on my first go, so the level doesn't have anything hugely of note, and you should have no trouble unlocking Bee in Your Bonnet. As I hit the warp room, I also unlocked Rocky Top for all the clear gems here before heading back in for the coloured gem. A Around halfway through, there's a stairway of nitro crates suspiciously just sat there in the middle of the level. Climbing these unlocks a secret warp to a new area where the purple gem is near the beginning. The ensuing death trap has nitro crates and bullets galore, and I made it to the end as you can see here, but you can just kamikaze if you want to keep the gem and finish faster. Back at the warp room, we unlock Purple Heart. At this point, I realized I was still missing a couple of earlier clear gems, and so I entered Bear Down again as I'd forgotten there's a warp at the end like a total div. We can use the platforms to head back, activating the warp and unlocking the secret entrance to Air Crash. I strongly advise saving immediately in the secret warp, as unlike in the Insane Trilogy, the secret warp area can only be accessed via other levels and not via the central hub. That said, we can finally grab all the crates. The jetboarding opening section is simple enough, and at the end we have the hallowed Nitro exclamation crate. We're then warped back into the main level to mop up the rest of the boxes. The death route can be avoided entirely, and when you reach the jetboard after these TNT crates and plant, make sure to slide jump over to the left platform and then slide jump again to grab 4 crates on the platform ahead before returning to continue on. With the level sorted and the gem hours, we unlock Surfin USA for all boxes and no deaths, and Transparent back at the warp room for all clear gems here. Booyah! The next revisit was to Digging It for another secret warp, and as we head through, there's more mud than a Marmite motorway. After the split ends with the boost pads, our goal is to crush this plant, but instead of landing on it, it kills me and I have to retry again like a massive wang. Got it second time, and a slam takes us back to the secret warp for a new entrance to Road to Ruin. When you enter the level, you're soon greeted by this stack of boxes, but be careful as there's a TNT crate craftily hidden in the middle. Slide jump over the nitro wall and head right for an exclamation crate leading us back to the start of the stage. Zip through the level and don't worry about the death route. Upon completion in one life, the clear gem is ours and my City of Ruins pops, along with Straight Out the Sewer for all clear gems in the warp room on return. It's time for our clash with Engine, which plays out like a third-person shooter with Wumpa Fruit for the ammo. This is the first boss that gave me a little trouble, but knowing the patterns, it becomes second nature quickly. We need to aim for the exposed flashing red components. After destroying them all, we get Master Exploder. After a brief scorning from Cortex,
What is your problem, Bandicoot?
I returned to Engine by holding triangle between warp rooms as I needed to defeat him with limited shots for another achievement. We're given 75 Wumpa Fruit as the limit, and it can be done in around half that. It's a fun little challenge that isn't overly taxing and just takes a little more time. Go for one shot at a time so as not to waste any. In phase 2, if you stand near the edge of the platform, it's possible to get a decent shot in while Engine strafes quickly. In the last phase, I'd advise a single shot each time he appears, or 2 at most. With that done, we earned Super Sharpshooter for not wasting our Wumpa. My next stop was hanging out for another secret warp. Remember I mentioned not to enter that hole? Now's the time to dig in deep. We're greeted with some more hanging bars and insanely quickly moving enemies, though holding circle pulls Crash high up to avoid them. Once through here, we touch the ground and warp out, unlocking Totally Fly. Again, I remind you to save in the warp room. Totally Fly is pretty tough and will probably warrant repeated attempts. Totally Fly needs to be navigated as quickly as possible so the Fireflies don't fly off, leaving Crash in the dark. A while after the bonus, we reach 6 armored crates that need body slams, but the Firefly doesn't stick around long enough, so I'm showing you precisely where they are here. Note the path heads around a corner to the left and there are Wumpa Fruit before the next drop. The best way I found to approach this section is by not obtaining the Firefly by the first 2 armored crates until after smashing all 6 crates. This is the only way I could work out to pass this part of the level without screwing it up. Also, keep an eye on the mushrooms you can just about see, as they help show roughly where you are. And here I am doing it for real. Spin repeatedly until you can audibly hear Crash brushing on the edge of the metal on the crate. Then body slam. You should have exactly 34 crates when you've finished hunting in the dark. Grab the Firefly and continue as usual, and at the level's end, the clear gem is ours, along with Firefly for all boxes and no deaths. We also nab Little Secret for all clear gems in the secret warp. We're at the business end now and piston it away, or as I like to call it, pissing it away, on account of all the lives and time I lost here. This level is long and hard with little room for error. Thankfully, the level does give you some some Aku Aku masks, otherwise I'd probably still be trying to beat it now. Avoid getting crushed with the pistons and slide to destroy these robot walkers and avoid getting burned. Soon after avoiding some more pistons, we see these tentacle robots we have to jump on to safely destroy. With some more crates collected and some more pistons and robots, we reach the checkpoint box and now we have to slide to kill these tentacle robots. Note that from here on out, the robots will have their tentacles up, then down, and so timing your kills is vital. We continue making our way through the level, avoiding the pistons and destroying the robots as we go. A little later on, we grab the level's crystal and head forward to the next 2D section. We finally reach the death route, but it's not time to take it yet, for oh no, we have a somewhat ridiculous bit of platforming to attend to first. We continue on and slide jump over the laser. Do not destroy the robot below as we need him to get back. Be quick off the pressure platforms, and if any lasers get close to you, you can spin attack if your timing is on point to avoid being shrunk and dying. Even this level's bonus stage is a bitch, and we have to head forward to reach an exclamation crate, then work our way back using wooden boxes to launch ourselves over the nitro crates. It's really important not to mess this up as those Aku Aku masks are sorely needed. After working our way through to the end of the bonus, we continue on the main path again, moving off the pressure pads quickly. Slide jump this next one to land as far right as possible, destroying the checkpoint box ready to twat these shield holding lab assistants. Timing is pretty lenient, just avoid being shoved and send them falling. Keep heading across to the right, dealing with enemies as you go until you see these nitro crates and this question mark box, which is the signal it's time to turn back. The return journey is a pain, and spin attack here as you jump to safety, hopefully avoiding the laser. We quickly slide jump across to buy the bonus and keep going. Slide jump across here and the next bit is horrible. We have to time the jump so the tentacle robot has his tentacles open and also is in the right position for us to slide jump, then land and bounce off his noggin to vault the next laser. In my opinion, this jump is the toughest in the game, so take a breath and take your time when you attempt this. As you can see, I slide and jump just before it opens, holding jump for a massive vault. That piece of shit dealt with, and we now have to do the entire death route still on the same life. The first jump needs taking just as the second piston starts to rise. Jump the nitro crates and smack the lab assistant into the nitro and keep heading across to the right, killing robots as you go. There's another tricky jump followed by this laser floor robot monstrosity. My advice is slide attack the robot and spin straight away, though it's almost impossible to do without damage. Now we just have some more tricky timed hops and we grab a clear gem before yet more madness, and finally, under the piston we reach the nitro exclamation crate and can grab the hardest clear gem achievement yet with the Piston Cup. After that frankly hellish level, thankfully Rocket is a piece of piss. I'd recommend using the shoulder buttons to go forwards and backwards. All of the crates are clearly on display, with only mild peril here being the hot pipes and occasional lab guy. Once attacked, we have to wait for them to zap before hitting them again. With that fairly tame level done, we score Rocket Man for all crates, no deaths. Night Fight is similar in many ways to Totally Fly, but easier, and we'll be much better acquainted with these levels at the end. Follow the level through, grabbing the fireflies, slide attacking the lizards, and spin attacking the mice, as well as being careful to avoid the spiked robots. There are no hidden or hard to reach crates here, but head right when the fork splits, and at the end, head back towards the death route for 2 crates and another firefly that are easily missed. When we reach the end with all crates and no deaths, we unlock Your Precious Moon. I next headed back in to grab the other gem on the death route. The death route features a narrower path and more enemies, but not a great deal else. As before, once you've gotten the gem, if you die you can continue along the main path like I did to cheese the way to the exit. We're on the home stretch now with a couple of levels left, and Pack Attack is next up. This one is like Rocket, just a little longer and more complicated. My first attempt ended up hilariously bad as I died and managed to blow myself up within seconds like a complete wazzock. Again, a slow and methodical approach wins the day. As the level goes on, the amount of things that can outright kill you increases, but I spent literally 5 minutes here, so it can't be too bad. The level's end this time awards us jetpack kicks for our trouble. And with that, we're at Spaced Out, the last level in our Retro Achievements run. With this one behind us and our final boss, it'll be on to everyone's favourite bit, the speed runs. Spaced Out is similar to Piston It Away, though for some reason, it's thankfully easier. We begin begin with the usual pistons and tentacle robots before heading behind the glass. This bit is unambiguous and has Crash dodging Nitro and exploding those pesky pushy lab assistants. Next we have some slide jumps before reaching the bonus, which is again thankfully not too tough. Avoid the Nitro and climb these reinforced crates to slam them after the TNT explodes. The last crates can be jumped on or spin attack the top ones to get them without risking falling. Back in the main level we have more annoying lasers to dodge by sliding, followed by grabbing the Nitro exclamation crate and crystal. All that remains is a final lab assistant and this pressure pad and laser pointing right at Crash. We have to spin as soon as we touch the pad to avoid being killed. That done, Space Rock is unlocked and we re-enter for the coloured gem path. All 5 coloured gems are required here, so go grab the rest if you missed any. The blue gem section has some carefully timed jumps to attend to. Keep an eye on the pistons in front so as not to plummet after bopping the robots. The green gem section is punctuated with lots of lasers and pressure pads and requires speedy slide jumps to pass. Once through, we enter the yellow gem section that has pistons and wide gaps with moving platforms. More delicate slide jumps and we reach the red gem. This section has more pushy lab assistants and pressure pads, but is pretty easy compared to the others. Finally, the purple gem takes us to an alternative exit where we grab the last clear gem, unlocking Cosmos as we return to the warp room. It's time for our final showdown with Neo Cortex, which was so unbelievably difficult it took me a grand total of 1 attempt to beat him. He needs following with the jetpack and spin attacking when we get close. Avoid the mines and asteroids, and after 3 hits he's toast.
You haven't seen the land of me, Crash Bandicoot!
Yeah, that just means more achievement guides, Neo. As we wake up next to Coco at the end of the game, we unlock Perfect Enemy and get shown the Cortex Vortex still hanging ominously in the sky before the credits roll. Nitrous Brio tells us in a slightly unhinged fashion,
You acquired all of the gems! Incredible! And with them, I can destroy the Cortex Vortex forever!
we take the central lift up and get to watch the destruction of the Cortex Vortex, unlocking the craziest diamond for the secret ending. And so we enter the time trials. I'm not covering every stage's time trial today because most of them are so easy I could have taken a leak in the time left over, but instead I'll focus on the harder challenges that could give you grief. Turtlewood's time trial is actually a little tight and took me a few goes, the target being 1 minute 28. Make constant use of the slide jump for extra speed and momentum as you make your way through. You can slide jump to the right of the mud pit to land on the right and slide jump again, keeping pace. As we continue on slide jumping the sparsely populated path, my best tip if you're struggling is to enter the stage with a couple of Aku masks as a third, and therefore a period of invincibility allows Crash to run a lot faster, in addition to Ramboing through, of course. You can use the crates to hop the mud, and when you reach the big pits you can slide jump across to the side to avoid them entirely. I wasn't able to do this consistently, but with the invincibility it didn't matter as I closed in on the exit with a few tenths of a second remaining for Shell Shocked. Snowgo's target was 1 minute 25 and I managed to unlock Snowfalls a full 10 seconds under the time limit on my first go. Next up is the pits and we have 1 minute 57 as we got Hang 8's time trial earlier. Again, soon after entering we grab a third Aku mask to make things a breeze. The poor purple birds don't stand a chance and simply explode against the might of Crash and Aku. I couldn't believe my luck when just after the invincibility ended I got another mask. Twatting turtles is just as fun if not more so. After attempting and failing to dodge the pits, we instead slaughter the rodents before jumping out 3 times. Some final slide jumps and we exit the level just in time to score Hold to Feed. Crash Dash is our final trial in Warp 1 with a minute 56. Basically just keep running and you're golden on this one. I made it to the warp with nearly 20 seconds to spare, unlocking Mad Dash Melody. Snowbiz has a time limit of 1 minute 38 and I did it netting Angel in the Snow with over 10 seconds left on my first go. Air Crash is up next with 1 minute 42 and this time I was over 20 seconds faster than the time, netting Country Air in the process. Air It has a time limit of 1 minute 26 and with a few slide jumps at the end I beat it by 8 seconds, snatching Running Bear. Crash Crush has a time trial of 2 minutes 14 and I crushed it 20 seconds early, getting Ready Set Roll. Our final time trial of Warp 2 is the Eel Deal with 1 minute 47. A time of 1 minute 24 unlocked Electric Shock with so much time left I could make a brew and have a piss. We got plant food earlier on, so sooner or later, and we have 1 minute 6. This one is oddly quite a bit tighter than most of the others, and I'd advise at least having an Aku mask upon entry, as you'll see. Jump through the first pool and past the scrubbers. Wait for the blowtorch to stop before progressing. Use the slide jump liberally here and hop across the platforms over the water. You'll be able to grab a second mask before going past the mutant rats and can avoid the next blowtorch on the left. If you've been careful, you can now grab a third mask, and it's necessary so you can run through the fast blades without getting hurt. Jump across the pool and the next blades and destroy the TNT wall, taking the path to the right. As you reach the final blowtorch, allow yourself to get hit and slide jump to the exit. With less than a second left, we unlock creeping through the sewers. Bear Down is next with a minute 31, and it's tight, so here we go. Grab a couple of cheeky slide jumps at the start. Boost, jump, boost, jump. Boost, then zigzag the statues before another boost jump over the whale pool. Boost as you land to make the next jump. Continue up the hill and make a couple of hops before a quick boost before the next statues. Be careful to avoid the whale pool as you emerge. Boost down the right, jumping and boosting as you land, then jump and boost again as you hit the ice. Jump over the crates and boost as you land. Boost under the next barrier and jump the pool, and boost again to jump the next gap. Avoid the TNT and boost up the hill. Avoid the seals and boost under the next metal barrier. Boost over the jump and across the ice. Jump over the barrier and again over the whale pool on the right. Boost as you land on the left, and again if you're quick before the next hops over the ice, then past the whale on the left and over the barrier. Zigzag the statues and then jump and boost under the barriers. Jump the whale pool on the right, then boost across the ice. Cross the next pool on the left and boost up the hill. Jump over the nitro crates and head under the barrier to reach the end of the level, all boosted out. Slide jump to the end as it's tight, and we now bear the burden. Road to Ruin is relatively short with a 1 minute 10 time limit. Begin slide jumping, and when you reach the second mouse, you can bounce off to the right, saving a little time. Bounce on the next two mice and try to avoid the lizard. Make the corner and keep going. Slide attack the next lizard, then again cut the corner by jumping over to the right. Try to avoid the fire, then slide attack the next lizard and continue straight again, cutting the corner where the boxes are. Jump on the mice as you round the next corner and time it carefully so as not to get scorched. Again, avoid the flames and then spin attack the monkey before leapfrogging off the mouse and slide attacking the lizard to make a final dash and spin or slide attack the monkey en route to the warp room, unlocking Race Among the Ruins. For Unbearable, we have 2 minutes 49. This one can be a little rough, but more for the level's length than anything. I made it with nearly 50 seconds to spare, unlocking Nazne de Gonyat, which according to Google is a song by Tatu, and I hope I pronounced that right. Hanging out, we have a minute 50. It's a pain, but I advise waiting for the blowtorch at the start. Slide jump over the water to be safe, and you can fit a few slide jumps in through the next pipe. Drop down the hole and hastily start climbing through the next section, avoiding the robots as you go. If you're bold, you can pretty much head straight through here, almost without stopping until the very end. You can slide through the wooden boxes, avoiding the TNT crates, then avoid the spiked enemies before hitting more hang time. Make your way through as fast as you dare, and eventually we enter a hot pipe with more spiky robots. Head down the next hole. Avoid the mutant rats and nitro crates and hit the nitro exclamation crate to pass one more large body of water and enter the final run, unlocking Hang You from the Heavens as we hit the warp home. Digging it has a healthy 2 minutes 55 time limit. Don't muck about, and this one can be easily done with 30 seconds free, unlocking Dig Dig Dig. Oh yeah. Cold Hard Crash has a time limit of 3 minutes 6 seconds, which is loads of time, and on my first go I got the snow howling with over half a minute to spare. In Ruination we have 2 minutes to beat, and with nearly half a minute left I nabbed in the time of my ruin. Where's Crash gone? He's just doing some gardening as we've got so much extra time clocked up. Behaving is up next with a time limit of 2 minutes 24 to beat, and I dashed up to the exit warp, snatching Bumblebee Sting Me with 16 seconds spare. We're back at Old Boil My Piss, piston it away now with 2.5 minutes to scramble, and I beat it getting Mechanical Dance with not too far off a minute left. Rocket has a time limit of 1 minute 41. You can speed forward for quite a lot of the level without stopping, and I nabbed Short Bursts with over 20 seconds grace. Night Flight has a limit of 2 minutes 7, but you only need a standard run as I got it with over 20 seconds left, unlocking Enter the Darkness. Don't mind Crash, he's just learning how to trade in cryptocurrency with all the free time he has. Pack Attack has a time restriction of 1 minute minute 56 and is easily beaten with 15 seconds free, scoring us Robot Bird. Spaced Out has 2 route options to complete its 1 minute 47 limit. You can take the standard path all the way to the end, which is longer but arguably easier, or do what I did and opt for the shorter coloured gem path. For me, the coloured gem path was only tricky when I didn't know the timing. Now the jumps are a lot more obvious to me, it felt like a much faster way to get through. The green gem path can more or less be run through with some slide jumps for good measure. Similarly, the yellow gem path can be jumped through quite quickly. The red path only has a couple of lab assistants in the way, and the purple path takes us to the end of the level warp, scoring a dream into outer space with over 10 seconds left. All that remains now is the secret warp room, and so I entered Air Crash and headed to the secret warp as earlier. I was not expecting to suddenly hit the figuratively speaking total brick wall that was totally bare. We have 1 minute 19 and it took me over half an hour to best this nighttime stage. It's unusually tough to net the time and you need to be boosting almost the entire way through, so here we go. Shave milliseconds off with some slide jumps at the start. Immediately boost, then jump to land and boost, then hop 3 times. On the third landing, boost then jump on the left. Leave the next boost till the last moment so we can clear the ginormous gap. Boost on landing, then jump to the right of the whale. Boost on landing, then jump again over the 2 gaps. Boost on landing and to the left of the whale, then right of the next one. Boost on landing and then again as soon as possible. Boost then jump over the statue, landing on the right, and boost again around the next one. Boost and jump then again over the right hand side of the whale. Boost avoiding the statues, then delay the next boost until near the next massive gap. Boost on landing and again across the ice, then jump right to avoid the whale. Jump the next statue, then boost on landing under the metal crates before quickly jumping to avoid the gap. Boost on landing and stay central to avoid the TNT. Boost under the next metal barrier and jump to avoid the water, landing on the left. Boost again, avoiding the whale on the right. Head up the hill and jump the ice pool, then immediately jump again to avoid the metal barrier. Boost on landing to go under the next barrier. Jump, then boost on landing under the next one and immediately jump to the left of the next whale. Boost on landing, then jump left to right and jump again, immediately followed by a boost and immediately jump on landing. As soon as you land again, boost and make a massive jump over the next huge pool. As you land, boost, then jump again straight away, then boost on landing to get flung off the bear. As before, slide jump repeatedly and quickly, and reaching the exit unlocks Dark Horse. All that's left is 1 time trial and the no Firefly challenges. For Totally Fly, our goal is 1 minute 48, which is again loads of time as a standard level run can be done with 20 seconds spare, unlocking coming out of the dark for our troubles. And now it all comes down to this. 2 achievements that are notorious within this set. Many have attempted, some have failed, but most have commented on the 2 no Firefly challenges. One user suggested watching a video of someone playing the level at the same time as playing it themselves, but my method was to hug the walls and work my way through the level that way. I'm having to splice together footage as I died so many times doing this, but first up is Totally Fly for the 25-point achievement, which took me around 20 minutes. I needed around 20 spare lives for these achievements, and I've attempted to increase the brightness and contrast so you can see a little better. If you follow this guide, you should be able to make it, losing a couple of lives at most. I began jumping up the left-hand side before landing safely where the Wumpa Fruit is. I then jumped back up the left and kept myself high up, jumping out and then in small increments to make it near to the second Firefly, being careful to bop the mouse. I then followed the Wumpa Fruit before a slide jump high on the left. I was able to use the mushrooms to jump around on the left all the way past the lizard and near the next Firefly. After grabbing the crates, I did a slide jump to the left and got a bit stuck on the geometry before a big jump over to the right, avoiding the nitro that is heard but barely seen. I jumped across to the other side and carefully along the left to the first checkpoint. This next bitch is like a punch to the cock, so get ready. Start jumping up on the right by the first spiked saucer and keep jumping along the right past the second and then the third, where we have a tiny bit of light on the right. Keep working along and up the right past the 2 next saucers. I next jump in between the next saucers to get around them and then back on the right. You can safely land by this pillar you can just about see, then jump back up. From the mushroom, long jump across to the left and then keep making progress along the left hand side. After briefly getting stuck, I jumped around the pillar to land on the mushrooms, then stayed high on the left all the way up to the next checkpoint. Avoid the bonus and Firefly, jump the next gap and twat the lizard. You can run forward a little here, and then I jumped up and right before jumping around the pillar. Stay on the right, jumping as high as you can. Pass the next Firefly and you can keep running a little. When you get a couple of Wumpa Fruit, slide jump up on the right. Keep hugging the wall on the right as you jump around, being particularly careful near the hole. Keep going along the right and then take out the lizard. Slide jump up again onto the right, then slide jump across to the mushrooms on the left. Stay as high as you can until landing near the crates. I nearly died here. Be careful to stay as far right as possible so as not to touch the Firefly, and pat yourself on the back as we've just beaten the challenge unlocking Hello Darkness, my old friend. Just night fight to go now before our mastery is complete and Crash is already packed for his next adventure. Just one more achievement please, Crash. I started jumping on the left to get over the Firefly without touching it. Then I did a slide jump up high on the right. Keep following around on the right till at the floor we can see. I waited to avoid the enemy, then did a big slide jump over it and then over the gap. I passed the Firefly on the right, then worked my way uphill hugging the wall. I then jumped out and around the pillar and got stuck before jumping down to the ground on the right and then straight back up. I then continued as high up as possible on the right to the first checkpoint. I jumped across the next visible gap and then hugged the wall on the right, jumping as high as I could go. The lizards are nearby and can just about be seen, so try to jump when they aren't near. When reaching the Firefly, I did a high jump past the crate so as not to accidentally touch it. Past the saucers in the middle, then hugged the right wall again, heading past the saucers as high as possible. Going up the hill, I continued to stay on the right before heading through the middle of the saucers with a slide jump over the hidden gap to the next checkpoint. From here, I headed onto the mushrooms on the left-hand wall, continuing on as high up as possible. First passing one saucer, then another. I did a slide jump over the nitro to the right wall, jumping around the pillar. When I reached the next pillar, I swapped sides to head past the next pair of saucers. I stayed on the left wall to avoid the nitro on the main path, then used the floor I could see to make my way onto the mushrooms before jumping across to the left again. Staying high on the left led me to the next checkpoint. The path is very narrow here, so I jumped to the side and over the next Firefly before jumping up along the left as high as I could go. I kept going on the mushrooms and around the pillars the best I could before swapping sides just before the next saucers. I carefully avoided the lizard pacing near me and just kept on the right hand side to finally complete the level after 3/4 of an hour, doing my own little victory dance before nabbing the final achievement, Darkness of the Unknown, and Crash Bandicoot 2 is mastered. There must be a mini masochist in me because I actually sort of liked working out how to do the no Firefly challenges. It felt like a unique way to approach the game. Crash is so proud and he'd love it if you check out my Crash 1 achievement run here or Ape Escape here, as it's a series deserving of a comeback. Until next time, remember, Retro always rules.